What's up, everybody? Hey, it's Mike Whitten with the Expansion Real Estate Group. Happy Friday to you. Welcome to this month's edition of the monthly market update. And we are in December. We are 20 days away from the end of the year. So just before we even get into this, I just want to wish you guys all a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. You guys have an amazing holiday and you have amazing fun times. You get to get and give a lot of wonderful gifts. So let's jump into the real estate market and see what's going on. All right. So here we are on our trusted Cromford Market Index chart. Again, 25 years of data. And we scroll all the way over here to the right. And I do got a little bit of good news for you this month. We actually did go up a little bit. So at the beginning of November, we were sitting at 78.3. And at December 1st, we jumped up to 80.4. So a small, but an increase, right? 2.1 points on the Cromford Index. Remember last month we did drop a little bit. So that is really, really nice to see. And then looking on our daily chart, you can kind of see that we had that little lull at the end of September all the way through October. And then November, we just slowly started to climb up. And again, 80.4 to start the month. And today we are sitting at 82.6. So again, we're going in the right direction. So why is that? Well, starting over here, the demand has increased again, right? We're on a pretty steady climb for that demand because interest rates have stayed pretty reasonable. They haven't come down too much, but the Feds did cut the rate again yesterday. So we should see these again, hopefully see these rates continue to dwindle down. We've been sitting in the low sixes, 6.25, 6.125 for a conventional 30-year mortgage. So that's really good. And then on the other side of the chart here, looking over here, the supply index has dropped. Last month we were at 104.8, and today we're sitting at 102.6. That the main reason for that is the listing inventory. Remember, we track single family homes here. Last month we were sitting at 19,235 active single family homes, and today we're sitting way down at 17,722. That's a huge 7.9% drop in inventory, which is one of the main reasons this Cromford Index has been climbing steadily over the last 30 days. I do want to say here, this is seasonal, right? We talk about the seasons here in Phoenix, and one thing we're past Thanksgiving now, we're coming into Christmas, coming into the New Year, and a lot of sellers don't like to list their homes during that period. And I would imagine we're going to drop again when I come on here next month in January, because remember, there's so many canceled and expired listings on December 31st. So that inventory will probably drop again. And then we head into our hot season here at the end, or about the third week of January. We start to get into our hot season from then until about May. So we'll see. But here's what I want to kind of warn us about. Just because we've been creeping up, we saw this exact same thing last year. The end of 2024, November, December, we climbed up to Cromford every single week. And then come 2025, we got to about that third week of January. And then what happened? We saw a decline. Generally, again, our market goes up during our hot season. Last year, it went down. So just because we are seeing a nice increase here at the end of the year doesn't necessarily mean we're out of the woods yet, right? We got a lot of things to see what happens. What are interest rates going to do? Is the affordability to come back? So all things to kind of watch heading into next year. So that's it for our charts. And I kind of want to jump into a conversation today. It is incredible to me how many people have been reaching out to me, asking me the same question. Mike, is the real estate market going to crash? They're hearing things on the news, they're hearing things in social media, that all these things are happening. And I want to kind of just hit on a couple points here. There's a couple people, and I don't have any problem with them. They are social media influencers, and they have been predicting housing market crash for the last 5 to 8 years. And crazily enough, they've been wrong every single year, but they get a lot of clicks, they get a lot of attention, and those are the things that people are hearing. So one of the ladies' names is Melody Wright, and she came out with a new one saying that here in Phoenix, that investors are dumping all of their homes on the market, they're not buying anymore, and there's going to be this huge spike in inventory, and the Phoenix market is going to crash by 50%, she's saying. 50%. She also said that last year for 2025 didn't happen. First thing I want to say here is doom influencers sell fear, not facts, right? So they're saying these things that they're trying to scare you into happening, but they don't necessarily happen. Here in Phoenix investor activity is about 13 to 14%, which again is right in line. We've been hearing this narrative of how Airbnb market's going to crash. And there's going to be this huge inventory of homes in the market. That also hasn't happened here. We did see a little drop in 2022, but it's been pretty steady. And it's actually the rents and the occupancy rates are actually increasing in Airbnbs right now. So there's just absolutely no truth to her statements there about the investors dumping the market. It's just not true. The other thing she talks about is how we're in this big, huge foreclosure crisis. And this is one of my favorite ones because I hear this all of the time that we're having this. I've probably heard this literally probably a half a dozen times in the last 30 days. We're in a foreclosure crisis. So scrolling over here, this is my favorite thing to show. And here's where I give these guys a little bit of a break. So this is the number of trustee sales. So basically foreclosure notices here in Phoenix. This chart, if you look, the number of trustee sales absolutely has increased. But again, this is right here in 2020 and 2021, which was during COVID, and there was just absolutely no foreclosures. They let everybody stay in their home during that period of time. So yes, if you look at December of 2021, and you had 83 foreclosure notices, and you jump to October of this year, and there's 498, that's a 500% increase. That's a huge increase. But here's what the real story is. Okay, this is the same chart spread out over the last 20 years. Okay, there is absolutely this right here. This is a foreclosure crisis. This is massive. There, in March of 2009, there was 10,558 notices in 1 month. That's a crisis. Last month, there was 369. There's 28 times more foreclosure notices in this market than there is in this market. So just want you guys to pay super close attention to that. When you hear anything on the news, it's not always what you think it is. And here's another great example going on the other side, right? Because people can do doom and gloom, and people can also sell you a kind of a pipe dream. So this is a true chart. This is the average monthly sales price per square foot in all of Phoenix, all properties included. This past week, we hit an all-time high in price per square foot, $317.80 per square foot. It's never been higher, okay? So for all those people who told you the market has crashed over the past 3 or 4 years, not necessarily true. But here's where they can manipulate the data. This is every single home in the valley. Now, if you look at entry-level price points, right, this is all the homes under 500,000. Clearly, that's not an all-time high. That's actually down 12% since 2022. Okay, so when you're talking about these things in these kind of generalized facts, you need to make sure what data you're talking about. If you're talking about the luxury market, $1 million and over, that market is going crazy right now. It's doing very, very well. If you're talking about under 500,000, that market is actually struggling a lot. And why is that? Because interest rates, right? Those people who are buying these first-time home buyers, entry-level homes, or even maybe second move-up homes under $1 million, they are really, really affected by interest rates. 100% that is making a difference in their market. And it's showing here in the price per square foot being pretty level after we kind of bottomed here in December of 22. It's been literally pretty level that entire time. So as you guys are watching the news, or if you are scrolling on social media and you're hearing this doom and gloom, the housing market's going to crash, your neighbor's telling you that, it's so important to have a trusted advisor. It's so important to look at the true stats with somebody who knows what's going on in the market, who follows the market every single day, and not get basically fear-mongered into believing something that's just not true. Okay? That's my PSA. I think that's what you say, right? My public service announcements for you guys. The market is absolutely not crashing. I'm not saying it couldn't, right? I'm saying it isn't. Anything can happen in this world, the world we live in, the financial, situation we're in with this government in our country. Something could absolutely happen, but right now there's absolutely nothing pointing to a crash. There's nothing pointing to a 50% drop in prices. Nothing. Okay. I hope you guys have an amazing New Year, amazing Christmas. I just want to thank you guys. This is, I think, the 5th full year I've been doing these videos, and I appreciate you guys staying with me this entire time and letting me be your trusted advisor for the real estate market. Have a great New Year. We'll see you in 2026.